You're watching the PlantX vodcast. Join us as we explore the inner workings of all things plant-based and all things PlantX, from the products and lifestyles to the people behind them. Now welcome our host, the man who combined his love of e-commerce and the plant-based lifestyle to create PlantX, Sean Dollinger.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the PlantX Vodcast, Season 2, Episode 13. And before we jump into our guests, our interview, and all that, I think it's really important we take some time today to really go over what PlantX is all about. I met with a friend of mine that I met a few years back. It was an interesting meetup because I had given her some advice a few years ago on messaging on her company. And at that time when I started with her, her company was worth about $10 million. And currently it's trading at about $250 million. And when she started going through our vodcasts and they actually invested early on, they said, Sean, we thought PlantX was a e-commerce company, but then we start hearing a lot about brick and mortar. And, you know, I really listened to what she was saying, and we come on the show each week and we really try to make it clear that, yes, PlantX is an e-commerce website with education in the stores, but those stores go so much further. It allows us to have distribution. So, for example, everybody who knows the Locavore, Cloudburst, and our X Market store in Squamish, in the back of the house, it's actually acting as our warehouse and fulfillment center for Canada. Same thing, our store in Hillcrest, San Diego, half the store is actually taken for distribution throughout the US, as well as our 15,000 square foot Las Vegas warehouse that we have distribution for. So whenever you hear of PlantX either acquiring a store or building out a store, it ties directly into our PlantX website for same-day delivery, next-day delivery, where in the background, we've been developing a full ERP system for the last 3 months with NetSuite that will allow people throughout North America to hopefully get same-day delivery as well as next-day delivery as the stores and as the footprint expands across the US. And to go back to the stores and the education side, you know, it's taken probably about 6 months to work out a formula that really works in those stores. And one thing that's come to our attention is to have an amazing events at the stores. And this Sunday in Hillcrest, San Diego, Emily and her team, as well as Lauren, did an incredible job to bring awareness to new vendors, the vendors sharing information, and people coming in and having a fantastic experience. So make sure to check out the Hillcrest X Market, and you'll see a little bit about that. And where this all comes into play is, for example, when we have Carli on the show from Sunscoop in Chelsea, you know, these are people who are work around the clock to build their brand, which, you know, is a phenomenal plant-based ice cream brand, which is quickly expanding across the US. And partners like these are so important to PlantX because we want people to come buy these amazing products on our shelves, on our website, and then, you know, perhaps sign up for subscription-based products, which just launched last week. So thank you very much to Athar and the team, even working through Black Friday, through Cyber Monday, to get that auto subscription where I could confirm to our viewers that we actually have a few subscriptions that have been turned on. So hopefully that gives people a little bit of context on what PlantX really is all about. At the end of the day, it's driving as many people, as many customers to our e-commerce website. On that, Carli, welcome to the show. Chelsea, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Hey. Yeah, no, for sure. Thanks for making the time. And as you guys know, we're live and we're we're streaming to a whole bunch of platforms, and we thank our investors and shareholders for taking time out of their day to meet you and hopefully have some great questions further on in the show. So, Carli, how do you take your coffee? We always start our shows by asking.
I mean, the only way to take your coffee is an affogato. So I love to do espresso with a scoop of vanilla bean cream. And it's really delicious. You don't need any sort of milk or plant-based milk. It just adds that creaminess with a touch of sweetness. So I guess that's my favorite.
Definitely fitting, and definitely love that. Chelsea?
I'm actually trying to wean myself off of caffeine. So I've been doing mushrooms. So I do like the Master Blend and then add in some cacao powder. It was kind of inspired from our dark chocolate flavor where we add reishi. It was kind of like my intro to mushrooms. So I've been doing that. Sometimes I drink coffee, and when I do, it's just black.
Awesome. And Chelsea, I love coffee, and I only drink decaf. And most recently, over the last week, even though we start the show by asking how do you take your coffee, I've been taking a little break from coffee recently, and I've been loving, and a lot of people never think of this, as mint tea with oat milk in it. And it's delicious. Yum. But we definitely could put a scoop of ice cream in there. I'm sure that'd be delicious.
Yeah, just put ice cream in everything.
Yeah,
it's the new way.
Cereal, oatmeal, everything.
Try that tomorrow morning. That'll be great. And so, what, and I know, Carli, you started the company, you founded it, you're CEO. What got you going down this path of starting this plant-based ice cream?
Yeah, so Sunscoop is really a first of its kind ice cream, really a new generation. And we make plant-based ice cream made with organic coconut cream and superfood ingredients, and we're completely allergen friendly. And I've struggled my entire life with food sensitivity. So since I was little, I haven't been able to digest dairy, gluten, soy, nuts, refined sugar, and I love food. I really light up when I can find something that I can eat that actually makes me feel really good. And that was really challenging for me, especially with ice cream. Who doesn't love ice cream, And I was feeling like there was absolutely nothing for me on the market that tasted better than dairy ice cream and have better ingredients. And so that was really my light bulb moment behind Sunscoop. And we launched in 2017 in New York City. I raised a small friends and family round from angel investors in New York. I was able to develop my first product, which was actually a coconut cream soft serve at the time. And we launched into Smorgasburg. We did 5 pop-ups in Sweet Green, and really sort of took off from there. And really after that amazing summer, I knew that I wanted to develop a CPG product to get this into all stores and all homes. And so that was really the kicking off point for Sunscoop.
Awesome. And I know when you start a business, definitely obstacles in the way. What did you experience during that kind of journey? It sounds like you had some great partners. Sweet Greens has done a phenomenal job. I think they're IPOing here in the next little bit. Yeah. And what could you share?
I mean, I actually come from a fashion and marketing background. I don't come from a food science background. So I really had no idea what goes into the science of ice cream and how difficult it actually is. So I didn't own my very first recipe, which was a soft serve recipe. So when I went to go develop my first product, we got into Whole Foods and we barely even had a product ready. So I would say it's taken us over 4 years to develop this product. And Chelsea, I'll kick it off to you to give you a little more background. But I think it is really hard to create a plant-based ice cream that has a creamy texture, that isn't icy, that has that mouthfeel that you appreciate from dairy. So Chelsea, I guess you can speak a little bit to that.
Yeah. So when Carli brought me on, it was just for flavor development. And I was like, okay, so you want me to do the fun part? Which is true. It's absolutely fun. But like she said, I had no idea how hard figuring out a delicious vegan base would be. And so we've been through so many iterations. Just, we have an unwavering commitment to being not only allergen friendly, but lower in sugar, and also just not tasting like we came from a lab, tasting almost better than dairy. So I would say that's just been a huge challenge. And I think that's a challenge for all plant-based. I think that, the vegan market kind of like went off running with just kind of some random pea protein, whatever would work, not taking into account taste at all. And I think like the next round is like, okay, let's make this actually taste good so everyone wants it.
Well, one thing that I love that you guys are focusing on is healthy ingredients and reading the recipes. Even though we've seen like the dairy-free cheeses expand and all of these things and they taste amazing, sometimes you take a step back and you start looking at the ingredients and it's a little bit shocking and you wonder to yourself, is this the direction and is this even healthier? We all believe in the plant-based movement, but I think it's important that we do it in a responsible way. I mentioned to you, I went to this amazing vegan festival and tried a whole bunch of different products, and even a company like Oatley, they have billions of dollars in the bank, super successful on their oat milk side of things. And, there's a lot of controversy when a second ingredient's oil in a milk product, right? So, maybe you could speak a little bit about what goes into creating a flavor and making sure that the right things are going into the products while you're expanding this product line.
Yeah, I mean, the flavor starts from an innovative yet approachability standpoint. So Carli and I kind of talk about what we think people really want, what they want to indulge in. And from there, we just get in our little kitchen and make small little iterations of it that are then made at our co-packer. So that part's, more simple. But I mean, yeah, going back to these like bases that have all these strange ingredients. I mean, it's like this Frankenstein of plants. And I think that we love coconut cream because, it's already such a good starting point. In that way, we're not reinventing the wheel, but making it taste creamy and actually be a really good ice cream is where the hard part starts, because you're using this machinery that was made in the 1950s for dairy and is based on like the molecular structure of whey. So that's where it like all the scientists are like, just add this protein, add that protein. And we're like, no, that like we can taste it. So it's just like figuring it all out, and it's never ending, but it's fun.
Yeah. And I can kind of add to that, and kind of going back to a challenge too is, we really have stood our ground since day one. So we are allergen friendly, which means we're free of the top 8 allergens. So even just something as simple as sourcing a cookie dough has been extremely challenging for us, because there's still, even to this day, aren't a lot of cookie doughs on the market that don't have refined sugars and nuts and weird ingredients. And so that's definitely been a challenge for us. And we're really we're getting a lot of good press around taste. I think in the category, a lot of people think vegan doesn't taste as good. And that is part of our mission, is we're showing that plant-based vegan products can taste as good, if not better, than dairy and have good ingredients. And so it's not easy. We have a big mission, but we're definitely making it happen for sure.
Yeah.
Love that, because over the 10 plus year journey for myself, I know all these new and exciting products are amazing. So honestly, from myself, thank you for creating yummy products, and look forward to trying the new flavors out there. And something really interesting that I heard over Thanksgiving on the allergens front, one of the largest halva companies that obviously use sesame seeds in the products. And now the US has went ahead and deemed that, or the World Health Organization has now deemed that as a new allergen.
Yeah.
So, that's something that I wanted to bring up. So when you're looking at things that could be on on the line, it's something interesting to take into account moving forward.
Yeah. That's a really good point. We're kind of like, can we do seeds? Like, can we not? Like, we've definitely thought about it. I've actually gotten like multiple requests for halva plant-based ice cream. There's a really great supplier here in LA that sweetens it with maple syrup. So yeah, we kind of go back and forth and we've iterated, but we really want to stand true. And will never see nuts, gluten, soy, seeds, or refined sugars from us. But
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that like going back to challenges, like Carli was saying, a lot of these ice cream companies just use inclusions, which would be like chunks. That's what we call inclusions. That just come from anywhere, and they all have like soy and gluten, and so we're really having to make our own inclusions all the time and get things figured out. Soy is in just about everything, so it's been hard to work around that. But
Yeah, no, I definitely bow to you guys on the challenges that come up in producing. That's one of the reasons for 20 years I've stuck with building out platforms, e-commerce platforms. I leave the hard work up to you guys, and I focus with the team on driving traffic to the website and creating excitement around plant-based living. So definitely a lot of things to consider. And speaking to that individual, it really opened my eyes, being like, wow, they've had this recipe for over 100 years, no issue. And now all of a sudden it becomes just something else that's added to a label, and obviously changes things up.
totally.
But yeah, I have another fun question for you guys. But before we jump into that, I want to open up the floor. If any of our investors, shareholders have any questions, please send them in. This week, if you're in an area that we'd be able to get you some of the Sunscoop plant-based ice cream, we'll definitely do our best to get it out to you. And if not, we'll go ahead and get you plant or juices. So it's really important we get your feedback. We take time each week to put these shows together and want to make sure that you're getting the value out of them that you're looking for. So, so we know that it's winter, at least here in North America. I'm sure ice cream sales drop as far as sales go and interest go. What do you guys do to kind of keep the interest in what you're doing?
I mean, something that I found that I thought was really interesting is people definitely eat ice cream year round. They just aren't going to scoop shops as much. So I think brick and mortar is more seasonal, but we're working with Whole Foods to create seasonal flavors. We actually just posted on our social media, 3 great ways to eat ice cream when it's cold out. But that's what's cool about ice cream. Even when it's snowing out, it's almost a staple in most grocery stores. If you open up everyone's freezer, they have a pint of ice cream. So that's really cool. But yeah, I mean, we'll add it to pie for holidays, or like I said, a scoop to your hot cocoa. So we try to kind of always come up with creative ways to eat Sunscoop. But it's not as seasonal as people think, which I think is really interesting.
yeah.
Love that. Yeah, I was in New York, and I could testify to that. At Thanksgiving, it was cold, and definitely on the dessert table there were pints of ice cream and all of that. So definitely the interest is there, especially with some pumpkin pie. It was actually awesome. So that was great. And before we do have questions coming in, so maybe we'll wrap up the show with what are your thoughts on the plant-based industry, and have you personally invested in any plant-based companies yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's obvious that this is the way of the future. So I think we always talk about Sunscoop as like the gateway drug to plant-based, because it's like people are willing to dabble in different ice creams, so I think that everything's going to be plant-based eventually. Maybe we'll be eating some bugs, but so it better taste good, That's kind of where we're at over here.
Yeah, I think, just to add to that, I mean, we're organic, we're sustainably sourced, and that's a big part of our mission. But, superfoods are a massive trend. We just got named our top 22 trends for Whole Foods for next year, top trends at Whole Foods in next year. So I think I think, unique flavor profiles is a huge trend. And allergen friendly is really being associated with better for you. So it's a really exciting place. And, we're really just excited, as she said, to kind of create the best tasting plant-based ice cream on the market, to start to like wake people's eyes up to what's out there and start shifting your diets to eating more plant-based, which is just so much better for you and better for the environment. So
yeah, and sorry, go ahead. And I'm excited to see also how the industry changes as a whole regarding like machinery. Like I was talking about, we're trying to make something work with machinery that was invented in the 50s. So I think there's a lot of room for growth in co-packers, et cetera, and also in packaging. So I'm excited to see how that changes as well.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited as well. And I loved your line there, Chelsea, I forget what you used there, the drug to the plant-based diet, or, that had a definitely interesting look at it. I love it. And so we have one question here, a few questions that I'll handle, but one question which PlantX, I won't lie, like I've been in the space where I shipped items that didn't have expiry dates in the past, items that didn't need to stay refrigerated and frozen. So far, that's been the biggest challenge in my e-commerce career, if we want to call it that, is this whole getting products to the spot as quick as possible, especially with your product. If it melts and then we know it gets frozen again, it's not going to taste right. It's not going to taste great. So maybe you could speak a little bit about how if it was ever a challenge, number one, and number two, if it wasn't, how do you go about making sure that your products get to the spot that they need to?
I mean, yeah, I can first speak to direct to consumer. Shipping ice cream online is incredibly difficult and expensive. We launched direct to consumer in the beginning of the pandemic because we wanted ways to get you more sunshine to your houses year round. So we started that. We had a lot of success. We sold a lot of ice cream online, but unfortunately, it's difficult and it's expensive, and there was a lot of issues with melting and this and that. And yeah, I mean, we're lucky that our product in general has a 16-month shelf life, which is really rare. So that's definitely a plus. But so shipping can be difficult. We're focusing next year more on cloud kitchens and partnering with companies like Fresh Direct, Go Puff, to get it to your doorstep within hours. And then, yeah, I mean, right now we're working with distributors to get it, stocked and on the shelf, and haven't had a lot of issues getting it to stores intact, but we're always making sure that the supply chain is working and focused on that. And and then the formulation to really handle ice crystals is something we've been working on for the past year, and I think we really nailed that part.
So definitely the challenge on the B2C side of things is something that we've definitely experienced, and that's where our footprint really comes into play, where we could carry your products in our stores and actually deliver same-day delivery to main cities, large cities across North America. So we're looking forward to that. And we were partnering up with Amazon, and we have on the shelf stable items. But again, the challenges, and Amazon, one of the most powerful companies in the world, they still haven't even figured out really the frozen side and refrigerated side for 3PL fulfillment yet, which is really, really interesting. So I definitely think there's an opportunity, and that's why PlantX is moving so quickly with its brick and mortar strategy to be able to have the edge on competitors in that side, and partner with companies like yourself, bring it into our warehouse in Las Vegas, and then be able to have distribution throughout Las Vegas. So looking forward to working on all of that. And then we've got Matthew asking, when will the next quarterly earnings be reported? And they should have actually came out about half an hour ago. And if they didn't come out half an hour ago, at some point this evening, they will be coming out, and the press release will follow with that. Sway Vish, did you guys say shareholders get Xmas presence. And we have something actually going out in the mail to every single one of our 10,000 plus shareholders, which is a free XVIP membership, which will incorporate free fitness for all of 2022. So we're looking forward to you guys getting that in the mail. And, you know, maybe you guys want to comment on this. One of the shareholders said, perhaps is it their plant-based ice cream that has had Oatley's stock slipping lately?
Yeah. Wow, that's definitely, we're definitely performing better than Oatley ice cream in a lot of stores because, again, we're totally winning on taste and texture. And, you know, getting our price point down has been a big thing. We were at $9.99. We're launching at $7.99 nationwide next year to really be more competitive. But for sure, I just wanted to do a little teaser. We are launching our first non-frozen product, a little sneak peek. Look out for that from us early next year. So that's really exciting.
Love that. Well, best of luck with it. Can't wait to try it out. Can't wait to have you guys out at one of our, you know, we haven't come up with an official name. That should be a question for the people on Instagram and everybody who's on live right now. What do we call our X Market festivals or our, you know, X Market, I don't know.
The X
It'd
Games?
be fun to hear from, sorry, Chelsea?
X Games?
X Games, that could be a fun one. We can mix that into the X Market or, you know, whatever name we come up with. That'd be a lot of fun. So we'd love to have you guys out. We definitely have seen tons of interest, and just thank you very much for taking the time to share with everybody today, and believe in PlantX and allow us to distribute your products and sell it in our stores.
For sure. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for having us and spreading all the love for the plant-based world. So appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Carli. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know the show ran a little longer today, but I thought that it was very informative. And it's amazing how the more people we meet, the successful ones in the industry, experience the challenges that, you know, we do with the B2C, which is really the biggest challenge out there, is how do you get refrigerated and frozen items to people's home? You know, when I founded the company with just a couple of us getting going, we thought that we could tie into different warehouses. And then we started seeing and realizing that shipping was too expensive to start shipping $3, $5, $8 items to someone's doorstep if they're coming from multiple warehouses. So that's when we started consolidating a warehouse. And through the API and ERP system we're putting in with NetSuite, which, you know, you need to install to be able to get to the level we're about to get to, you know, and again, we wouldn't be able to do any of this without our investors and shareholders believing in us. But what we've been creating over the last year and a half is a foundation that will allow us to really get to where we want to in 2022. And behind the scenes, obviously, we know what's going on and we see everything growing. And when we, you know, acquired 51% of Portfolio Coffee last week, which we'll be hopefully having them on the show on December the 6th, I believe it is. We're looking really forward to show you how strong the partners are PlantX is joining with. And when people say, hold on, a coffee company, but when you look at their e-commerce, B2C, they've created these single cup pods for home use. And then all of a sudden we could incorporate it into our stores where people come and learn about it. But then in the back of the house where we have our distribution for e-commerce throughout North America, everybody's getting that every single week. And when they start trying the coffee and they love the coffee, maybe they want a plant, maybe they then want the refrigerated items for their local city or whatever is available. And I'll wrap up the show today with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, sales were the best we've ever experienced. And to go back to Bloombox Club, that was our first acquisition, probably close to 10 months ago now, I guess. PlantX has went in, made a lot of changes. We're about to launch the brand new website, which I'm really, really excited about. But we saw conversion rates go up. Over 3.5% was the conversion rate. We saw 6-to-1 ROAS. And believe it or not, the revenue was the highest it's ever been, the most sales it's ever been through that weekend. So it kind of shows, at the end of the day, the expertise the PlantX team brings to the table. And we're looking forward to doing that with all of our partners, and can't wait to prove to everybody in 2022 how amazing our platform is that we've been working tirelessly and endless hours over in 2021. Thank you very much for believing. And until next time, stay curious, stay planted, stay healthy.
Thanks for watching the PlantX podcast. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more information, go to investor.plantx.com. See you next time.